These are some of the structures at the Diocesan Pastoral Center. Here we are now viewing the administration block. On this side is one of the lecture halls at the Pastoral Center, and the computer lab also is there at the Pastoral Center. These are the dormitories of the Pastoral Center.
I'm happy that at least this year we started the year with a good mark by having a workshop for the pastoral workers, particularly the extraordinary ministers who assist in the parishes. But unfortunately, we don't have many programs as we are facing challenges to go to the parishes. We've realized that it is a problem for the parishes to send a group of people to the diocese. We suggested some projects that can assist us to run such programs independently. One project is the altar bread making machine. As a diocese, we don't have such.
I'm Sister Judith Chimatira, a diocese sister of Chinhoyi, Sola, Sisters of Our Lady of Africa. And I'm the youth coordinator of this diocese. The diocese has got about 5 missions and 12 parishes. Across this diocese, I do look after the needs, the spiritual, the moral, and the social needs of the young people. Here they are the missionary childhood. They also help themselves in their spirituality by participating in the choir, parading their uniform. Then coming to the youth, I'd like to show you here, we have done the project for the juice making. This we've decentralized it in our 3 denaries. That is Western Denari, Eastern Denari, and Central Denari. In the Western Denari, that is where they've done the juice making. We've trained them, aiming to help them to be self-employed, to create their own jobs. Because most of the youth that we have here in our diocese, they are the youth we have dropped out of the school, who faces the challenges of financial support. So I was just trying, we have looked, themselves and myself, we have looked into their situation, and we thought to come up with this project to empower them. Chinhoyi is more rural than urban, and the challenges of economic support. Most of our youth, they rely on farming. So now with the climate changes, they are also affected. And with the economy and the political situation of the country, they are more affected on their own life in order for them to live on their own or to be self-sustaining. As the youth coordinator and in our youth office, we try to come up with some projects to help them to be self-sustainable. We also even went to the Eastern Denari, where we have helped the youth of the Eastern Denari to train in the making of the shoes. You can see there, these are some of the shoes that they managed to come up with after their training. And the belts, they also even trained how to make the sachets. And in the Central Denari, we've helped the youth by training them in the cutting and designing. They've done the sewing. They managed to come up with the shirts, both boys and girls, the blouses, They also made even a dress for a child, a skirt, a pair of trousers. At the end, we've seen that there is a need for us as a youth to have a ground where we can have our own youth structure. Hoping that these young people, they can come for the training, they go back, they do the selling, they can come back again for making other products and even for advancing their own knowledge and go back and live on their own. To the extent that in doing that, we hope in future they will be able to find their own land and build their own structure. We also need to do the follow-up in parishes and in the deaneries to see on the ground what the young people are doing, and even to equip them with the knowledge of being gender sensitized and even of their moral and spiritual. But in order to do this, we need to travel. And as we've mentioned earlier on, that our diocese is more rural, and some of the roads, most of our roads here, they are graveled road and not well graveled. That we need a proper car, and we don't have a car as a youth office. We have to use the public transport, and some of these transport, they take 2 days in order for you to reach the areas like Chitsungo, Marymount. You find it very difficult in Sarabani, and sometimes you won't get that transport as you'll be waiting for it. So we think that if we've got our own transport, a transport that is a car, a vehicle that is ready to travel on this gravel road, on this gravel rough roads during the rain and the dry season, I think our programs will be more effective.
Reverend Father Johani Nguruwe, 21 years old now in the Catholic priesthood, and I'm a priest of the Diocese of Chinhoyi, and I serve as vocations director for the diocese. There are indeed many moments that have made me happy, and I can say from the very start of a person's journey to the priesthood, that is when I accept a student or somebody desiring to become a priest, when I visit their family to confirm their decision to become a priest. And then also as I accompany a student all the way in terms of his seminary training. But very excited I become when a student receives ministries in the church, for instance, becoming a lector, becoming an acolyte. And my joy continues when a person is raised to the clerical state, becoming a deacon, and finally becoming a priest. My vision really is to see in the future a time when vocations are going to be in plentiful supply, many young men and women coming forward desiring to serve the Lord as priests, religious, and say other personnel in the church. There are many challenges in terms of working as vocations promoter, looking for finances in terms of financing our students in their seminary studies, but also looking for funds in terms of taking care of the basic necessities that students have, especially also when somebody comes to offer themselves as a student to the priesthood. They're more or less on their own, not much support coming from their family. So that does affect me very much. Or if that kind of interaction were to be present, I think it would help our own students to grow. It would actually broaden their horizons in terms of what life is about, especially when they can interact with others from abroad. It would be a great idea, really, that would give our students greater scope if they can interact.
Dream about Africa, the land of contradictions and tensions. Africa, the land of riches and poverty. My dream goes as follows. dream of a better Africa, better hearts, better homes, and better fields. I dream of a better Africa, loving Africa, welcoming Africa, and forgiving Africa. I dream of a better Africa, Africa that respects a fellow African, Africa that takes prayer seriously, Africa that trusts fellow Africans. I dream of a better Africa, Africa that is hardworking, disciplined, and never selfish. I dream of a better Africa, Africa with leaders who put people at heart and first, always open to welcoming others, full of compassion, understanding the pains, wounds, hurts, and sufferings of others. I dream of a better Africa, Africa with hard-working young people. I dream of a better Africa, Africa with people who live their faith, people who preach what they practice. I dream of a better Africa, Africa with young people of vision and love. I dream of a better Africa, Africa that gives priority to marriage, family, and life. I dream of a better Africa, a united and one Africa, united in Christ the Lord. One voice can make a song, surely. One life can change the world.